football. We're getting pretty close to that. Speaking of the Olympics last night, big story, and we won't start off with Trump today. Big story. There's a lot to talk about. But the story about the adoption.
Yeah.
You want to get into a little bit of that?
So it's Simone Biles and Al Trautwig he was working for NBC last night. Andrew and I just mentioned he does some stuff for the Rangers games, maybe some Yankees, and at least he used to do the Knicks as well. There was a comment he made. I guess they showed her adopted parents on television, and he referred to them as her grandparents. Somebody tweeted him and said those are actually her parents or something to that effect, and he said that may be mom and dad, but they are, in capital letters, not her parents. And Ron and Nellie Biles adopted Simone and her younger sister 15 years ago when their mother was struggling with drugs and alcohol, which is actually, biologically, they are her grandparents.
Oh, they are? Okay, yeah. They are. I didn't know that.
Ron Biles, it was his daughter who gave up the kids and the grandparents took over.
And that became a huge issue last night for the adoptive people. Those that are in adoption, whether they're adopting or adopted, say that they're the parents. Period. You don't get down that road. It does seem, though. First of all, I'm not sure why he would even clarify it that way. But it almost is like when you're on the air and somebody calls up and corrects you. Sometimes it angers you a little bit, and you kind of put that little jab in there and say, well, I was right. I just wasn't exactly right. Or technically I'm right. Who are you to criticize me? And I think there might have been a little piece of that there. I could be wrong, but it was something that, this day and age, you just can't say anything that might offend somebody because they come after you. And I'm not sure this is anything, he's not going to lose his job over this, I don't think. But
no, I don't think so. Because, again, biologically, at least the grandfather is, or at least Ron Biles is biologically the grandfather, is what I'm trying to say. So I guess maybe that's where the confusion comes into play. Does he need to correct in that manner? I don't think so. But then my other thought is he's right. It's her grandfather.
But don't you think? But don't you think though that it is a little piece of that?
Yeah.
There you are on the air. You're trying to get everything right, and somebody's like questioning you, and you're like, no, technically I'm right. It's their grandparents.
Right.
But if you're adopted, that's a big deal. So again, on one hand, in this world, you can say whatever you want and get away with it and become the Republican nominee for president. On the other hand, for everyone else, by the way, for everybody else, you can say the tiniest little thing incorrectly, and you're going to get hammered over it.
You had to work in Donald Trump until
I figured
Olympic
I would.
Story.
Yesterday, all of these national security people that have worked in GOP national security people who have worked with presidents since Nixon came out in in uniform standard and said that Donald Trump would be a danger to the United States, cannot become president. How damaging is that one? These are people.
I just wonder if it even matters.
These anymore. Well, we're seeing that it does. I mean, we've never seen Donald Trump's numbers go down.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
We're
about
seeing that at this point it does matter, and we didn't think anything would matter. But in this case, it does seem like the numbers are beginning to fall off. And that's at a time when you even have a candidate like Hillary Clinton who's fighting this scandal over lying. And this Iranian journalist that was executed in Iran was a part of the emails. That's the story that's out there. Even with all of this, Trump's numbers are now falling for the first time. There's some weeping going on in the Jim Zecca household. It's still early. It's August. A lot can happen between now and then, and a lot probably will, especially this year. But it does seem that for the first time, there seems to be a crack in the foundation.
More bad news for Clinton as she's being sued by the parents of 2 Americans killed in the Benghazi attacks. Larry Klayman of Freedom Watch USA filing a lawsuit against Clinton on behalf of the parents of Patricia Smith and Charles Woods, claiming Clinton's mishandling of the situation led to the deaths of their sons.
We have an interesting return. I think we might have talked about this a while back. Crystal Pepsi, which is the Pepsi that is clear Wasn't it which was the song that was with Crystal Pepsi? The return of Crystal Pepsi. It's back in stores now for the first time and for a limited time, which makes sense. It only lasted a year or so the first time it went out. I don't understand why Pepsi's coming back with it. Somebody put together a bunch of funny reactions from millennials trying it for the very first time, and I have that audio.
I do not know what Crystal Pepsi is.
Hadn't heard of it until today.
It came out in 1992. Was discontinued by 1993.
I was 2.
I will say right away that's not taste like regular Pepsi.
Everything in here looks like it could probably kill you.
There's like a chemical-y aftertaste.
It tastes like Pepsi.
It's like I wouldn't be mad about it if it was cough syrup.
Tastes kind of like 7-Up. It's a limited time promotion.
Let's just say this explains the 90s.
This explains the 90s. So I'm pretty sure, though, it's supposed to taste like Pepsi.
It's supposed to, yeah.
But it is clear, and it just doesn't have the dye in there. So it would be interesting if those people were tasting it blindfolded, if they would be able to tell the difference. And maybe we can try to find some.
Do you think they have some
here
down the road?
Well, we can try. We should definitely try that, Andrew. I'd like to do a blind taste test on it. Crystal Pepsi, limited time in stores right now. I'm going to ask you with an update. We're going to talk to Rachel Sutherland coming up.